Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you the easiest method, as far as I know, to make a hexagonal pattern in Tinkercad. First we're going to go over to the search bar and search up Honeycomb. Then taking the first result, we'll drag it onto the work plane. Now if we zoom into the work plane, we can tell that these are obviously hexagons, but we can also change a lot of things about the pattern with these sliders. Polygon sides is what kind of shape you want. Triangles, squares, pentagons, but we're going to leave it at 6 sides for a hexagon. Radius is the size of the shape. We'll bump that up to 8. And rows and columns count are how many rows and columns your pattern has. So I'm going to do 5 for the rows and 6 for the columns to make it square-shaped-ish. And next is just minimal thickness between two patterns determines how much spacing in between the hexagons. So if we can increase that to 2. Next is the height. We don't really need to worry about that because we can edit it later. And rotation. We also don't need to worry about that. That's changing the orientation of the hexagons to get some pretty cool patterns. Next, we're going to grab a cylinder and drag it on. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change it to a hole. And then I'm going to shift, start dragging out, and then press Alt to make sure it's centered. And we're going to drag out to get everything I want to encompass in this shape. And now, as you can see, it's almost big enough, but it needs to be a little bit bigger. Shift, drag out, Alt. And that's good. Next, I'm going to change it so it's a lot less tall. We'll put it at 9 millimeters tall. And as you can see, it's not actually on the floor. So we're going to make sure we're clicked on it and press D to drop it down. Next, if we go up, you can see that there's a lot of hexagons that are partially in that we don't want in our pattern. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to simply grab a box that's also a hole and just put it on top of all the hexagons we don't want, but also being careful to not touch any of the hexagons that are part of the area that I want them to be in, that are part of the pattern, basically. Alright, good. Now we're just going to switch back to a 3D view, and we can see that not all of these are dropped down. They're just going to click on them and press D. And press D. Press D. And now that they're all dropped down, go back up and make sure that you check that they're all in place. And we're going to select the honeycomb by pressing Shift. Not the cylinder, the honeycombs. The honeycombs, thank you. And all these boxes that we just made. Once we've selected everything, we're going to go up here and press Union Group. And that'll basically cut all those extra hexagons out. Now, almost everything got cut out except this one. So we'll just try it again. Place a square on top. Drop it down. D. And combine it with the hexagons. And group. And it's cut out. Now, we can change the cylinder back to a solid. And change the rectangles to a hole. And after that's done, we'll just shift click both of them to one group, and we'll group them together, cutting the holes out of the cylinder. And as you can see, here's our final product. Thanks for watching.